Here's the one thing that Francis Schaeffer said. He said, a time is coming when everyone will be wired to a giant computer, and the definition of right and wrong will be determined by averages computed at any given time. This was 1972. Almost 50 years later, we understand that this is how things are figured. Of course, social media becomes a big part of it. Polling data becomes a big part of it. But all of a sudden, we try to find consensus on opinions, and that starts to determine what's right and what's wrong, what's true and what's false. You see, as Christians, we think more deeply than that. You see, when the center starts to move out, when there's a vacuum, this is something we've seen throughout history. When authority from a transcendent source goes away, the government steps in to create order. Control becomes the order of the day. And you're seeing that. You're seeing this all around the world. I know you're seeing it in very real time in your country and in the places where you're living and you're operating. 2 years ago, we couldn't have had this conversation with a context or a metaphor where you would have understood it the way you understand it now. But now you see what control means. It becomes the order of the day. There's a vacuum. The center's not holding. And so coercion becomes part of the game. Control becomes part of the game. And so I speak honestly to you tonight about this because we're in a critical moment. We're in a critical moment for the church. We're in a critical moment for the credibility of the Christian faith. And what does it mean for us to think well? What does it mean for us to speak well? What does it mean for us to understand all of the different warring that's happening in the supernatural in a moment like this and still step into it with faith and courage, but also with a thoughtfulness, with a sensitivity to the polarization that's going on, to the ways in which people are becoming divisive, where our media, our governments are even baiting our citizens to come against one another. You see, this is not a place that the Christian can go into and pick one of these sides. The Christian has to step into the middle of this space and be the healing balm, be the peacemaker, be the one that helps us recognize the thoughtfulness of the other and try to bring us together.